final contest between WBA Super World Champion George Groves and his opponent Jamie COX. The fight will take place on Saturday night at the SSE Arena in Wembley. It'll be available to watch live on ITV Box Office. The battle for the Muhammad Ali Trophy is underway. We already have two British super middleweights into the semi-final, Callum Smith and Chris Eubank Jr. And one of these men up here today will be joining him and facing Chris Eubank Jr. in the semi-final. So let me start by just introducing everyone we have on the top table today. So starting from my right, we have Shane McGuigan, George Groves' coach. Next to him, the WBA Super World Champion George Groves. Next to him, KALLE SAUERLAND, Eddie Hearn, Jamie COX, and his coach, John Costello. So let me begin with a few words from Kalle. Can you tell us about how the tournament's been going so far and what we can expect from this matchup on Saturday?
Good afternoon. Lovely to be in London. It's week 6 for us. Started in Berlin. We've had some fantastic events across Europe and America. Obviously last weekend switched back to the super middleweight division in Germany after a very interesting fight week. We ended up with the gem of a fight, a gem of an ending. The performance of the tournament so far, which of course, and that was always the purpose of the tournament, to tell stories and to bring a storyline, rolls us beautifully into this fight week. And sort of the attention switches to a great matchup. George Groves, the man to beat in the tournament, still very much, still the WBA Super Champion, the best super middleweight in the division. When one looks at all the names, we can talk about everything here and there, but he is the man to beat at super middleweight. And that's why he came in at number 1 seed. Chris Eubank, obviously with the performance of the tournament so far. And you've got Jamie COX, who comes in, and a lot of people talking about a Eubank Groves semi-final, but of course Jamie COX comes in with almost a nothing to lose situation, undefeated challenger, and you have a storyline that you couldn't put into a Hollywood thriller, you know. So I think we're lucky. I'm very lucky to be sitting here every week ringside and watching these great fights. And this week is no different. I think we've got two absolute prime athletes, two guys who have put it all on the line in sparring and training over the last weeks to get ready for this amazing stage. And if you haven't seen it, Saturday night you will see a stage second to none in boxing, production second to none. Look at the side programming if you haven't done so already. It's simply unreal. And I think, you know, there's no bigger platform to perform on. I certainly know the man on the left of me loves a massive stage, and I think for Jamie COX, of course, it's the first time on such a big stage. And whenever you get a British guy and a British guy in a ring together in what will be a big crowd at Wembley on Saturday night. We're expecting 7,000 plus at Wembley Arena on Saturday night, so it's a big crowd. It's going to be a great fight, and we're looking forward to it, and we're looking forward to find out who obviously meets Chris Eubank in the semi-final.
Thanks, Kalle. Got Eddie Hearn on the top table supporting his fighter Jamie COX. As Kalle alluded to, it's a massive opportunity for Jamie. Do you think the timing's right for him? Do you think he can get the job done?
Yeah, it is a big opportunity, but it's not one that we don't think we deserve or we're up for. I think Jamie's wanted to become a world champion for a long time. Kalle is right, a lot of people talking about Chris Eubank and George Groves final. I think you're one of them, Kalle, to be honest with you. And we're here to disrupt the plans. I think Jamie COX has been talked about for a long, long time as a great fighter, a great puncher. The word around the business, in sparring, in preparation is Jamie COX is the real deal. He is a huge puncher, and to be honest with you, I'm looking forward to seeing it, because it's only when you step up to this level you find out if it is true. And if it is true, I believe he'll win the world title on Saturday night. And I think getting in this tournament was a great buzz for Jamie COX. I think it was a massive opportunity. and we thank KALLE and the World Boxing Super Series for that. But now we have the opportunity, then there's only one thing to do, and that's go and become world champion on Saturday night. What a great chance for Jamie Cox to do it in a big profile fight. The production, like KALLE said, is excellent. I thought the fight last week with Eubank was very, very exciting. And I think this is going to be another very, very exciting fight. Two great styles. George looked good last time out against Chudinov. I think he's got the confidence now that he's world champion. But you've got Jamie Cox, who's hungry as hell for this opportunity. The chance to become world champion on Saturday night. You can't underestimate the hunger of this young man. He really has absolutely nothing to lose going into this fight, but we don't really see it like that. We see it more as a great opportunity and a very, very good fight. And I think you're going to get that from Jamie Cox on Saturday night.
Thanks, Eddie. Before we hear from the fighters, we'll have a few words from their coaches, starting with Jamie's coach, John Costello. So John, you've been with Jamie from day one. You know him better than anyone. What makes you so confident that he can beat George Groves on Saturday night?
Because I know him. I know his ability. I know for the last so many fights, he's just been turning up. He's had nothing to get up for. Since he saw me that day, he's got a new lease of life. But before that, you know, he was just turning up. There was nothing on the end. Nothing on the end of any fight for him. He just didn't know what he was in the game for. Now he's got the bit in his teeth, and he just wanted to fight. You know, he wanted to be in fights that he could get up for. His training, everything's changed. His mindset's changed. I know what the kid can do, and I don't care what the bookmakers say. You know, all this thing about size and everything else. You know, keep talking. You'll see Saturday night. We're no world champion.
Do you think size will be a factor in this fight? There's been some talk of that.
I think size in this fight will have the same relevance he had for Manny Pacquiao. You know, we're going to call Manny Pacquiao a light flyweight because he made his debut a light flyweight. Should we call Nathan Cleverly a light middleweight or a welterweight because he made his debut at 151? Absolute nonsense talk. Jamie's a super middleweight and he's every ounce of a super middleweight. So no, has no relevance at all.
Okay, thanks John. Shane, obviously you guided George to his world title win. Have you seen any difference to him in the gym, in his mindset, his attitude since becoming a world champion? Has that added anything to his skill set?
I think you got a guy like George that's fought so hard to win that world title. His mindset, whenever he's come back into camp, he's just raised the bar again. Some people win world titles and they kind of just drop off. They feel like they've done everything, they've achieved everything, but he's always strived to be the best he can be. And I think since being back in the camp, he's come in with a very confident attitude, but still putting in all the graft. And camp's gone fantastic. It's been 12 weeks with 9 real hard grafting weeks. We were really busy last year, and he's obviously won that world title. So this is the first step that we've got to overcome on Saturday night. Jamie Cox is a good fighter. He is quick. Although John doesn't like to say, he is naturally a smaller man. But that can be a benefit for him because he's got speed on his hand. But we've prepared. We've ticked every box, and I feel like you're going to see a fantastic performance on Saturday night.
Thanks. Did you have any input in George's selection in Monte Carlo at the draft gala? Is it something you spoke about before, or?
Yeah, I mean, I was in Miami, and I seen the Turk Yildirim. I seen him out sparring a few times. He was sparring Curtis Stevens, and I said to George, Curtis Stevens is getting the better of him out there in sparring. So I said, we've just come off 2 fights against Chudinov and Martin Murray. I thought that would have been a good fight because we've just had 2 fights back to back, similar opponents, but. We also looked at Jamie Cox and we thought, he's been pro a long time, still question marks about what his ability is. Obviously he's done a lot as an amateur, but hasn't been proven at the top level. And I think, there's maybe a reason why he hasn't stepped up to that level in past history. So that was our choice.
Thanks, Shane. Now on to the fighters, starting with Jamie. So far, all of the tournament's seeded fighters have won. What are you going to do to change that on Saturday?
I'm going to win. Simple as that. There's no question about it. I come into this game, into this tournament to win the tournament. George is the first stop and we're ready.
Why do you think George selected you as his opponent? And is that a selection you're going to make him regret?
I don't know why they chose me. You know, everyone's good in the tournament. Everyone's good in the super middleweight division. I was the first one chose, and I'm going to make my mark.
Cool. Thanks, Jamie. And George, obviously this is your first world title defence, so this is an extra special occasion for you, I imagine.
Yeah, it certainly is. Thanks everyone for coming. It's a massive turnout. I think obviously the fight from last weekend has got everyone excited about this fight this weekend. I feel like I'm in fantastic form. You know, the form of my career. You know, this tournament, as I've said, has come along for me at the perfect time. Anything that could have been a problem, maybe motivation after winning a world title after so long, isn't a factor. You know, I wanna win this tournament. There's a lot on the line, as well as defending my world title. The competitiveness in me is kicking in. You know, I'm watching other guys in the category win and go through. I want to be one of them. Certainly, I'm going to make sure I'm one of them. We've had a fantastic camp. You know, sometimes you have to lie about it, sometimes you have to exaggerate it, but everything that we could have wanted to have happened has happened. The things that you rely on that are slightly out of your hands, whether it be the quality of the sparring, staying healthy, stuff like that, ticked all those boxes. We're in great shape. We're ready to go. Haven't for a second looked past Jamie Cox. I know what he's about. I know what he can bring. I know that we maybe so far haven't seen the best of Jamie. You know, he has fought nowhere near the level that I have. He hasn't boxed on the big stage. He hasn't fought the big names. He hasn't been in the world title fights. So he's gonna have to take a giant leap Saturday night. He'll be wondering whether he's capable. His trainer will be wondering whether he's capable. They'll believe they're capable, but
I'll make you
they
more.
won't know.
Make you more. I'll be wondering, I will never believe it. Make you more, George. That's all nonsense, son.
Okay.
I believe, and I know he's capable.
Okay.
You got him right the second time.
Well, I think they're wondering whether James is capable this weekend, and I changed my answer too. It's a huge step up for him. Huge step up. And Jamie's never performed as a professional. He's had a stop-start career. He's had, you know, for whatever reason, he's never progressed. You know, when he's boxed at a lower level, he's dropped to that level and struggled. Maybe he's that sort of fighter. Maybe he'll be able to rise to the occasion and step up when the opposition's harder. But maybe not, because there's lots of talented amateurs out there that never do anything as a professional. Jamie's been fortunate enough to be part of this process where he's been gifted a world title shot. He hasn't had to box anyone decent to sort of get in that position. You know, he's been part of this tournament. I've picked him. It's fantastic for him, you know. We'll have to wait and see, won't we? We'll have to wait and see. They believe that they're ready. I'm not so sure. But we're looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a great night. You know, we've never looked past Jamie for a second. We're hoping that the best Jamie Cox shows up, better than we've seen before. But even so, we are ready for that and looking forward to going out there performing well, showing everyone in the division that we're the guy to beat. You know, we're the main one. We're number one seed. We're the favourite, and we will be that still after Saturday night.
Thanks, George. So let's open it up now for some questions from the floor. John?
Can I ask both fighters what you thought of Chris Eubank?
I haven't seen it.
never watched the fight, but I expected him to win, and he did, and in good fashion.
Anyone else? No? Well, let's break for some photos and then there'll be a chance for some one-on-one interviews.